I agree, you're a blonde, you're a natural blonde, and I'm assuming when you were a little girl you were very light. Quite light.
It's gone a lot darker now. Yeah.
It's gotten a lot darker, you're not in the sun as much, etc., as you were when a little girl. So what I think needs to happen in here, on these ends, is to break that blocking. It's just one color. What Naturalmente does, because of its gentleness, it doesn't equalize like other ranges would. It honors that variance. So what lands up happening...
It enhances the difference.
Thank you. And when it starts growing out, it's not as noticeable because you don't have... You've got more true tonality growing out as versus equalized tonality growing out. So there's a lot of things you'll notice about Naturalmente long term. It's not going to, because today, right here, right now, today, when we're done with you, the only thing that's going to be true Naturalmente is that.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, this.
Yeah.
This we're going to call John, okay, because this is whatever you were previously using. So obviously the only time you're going to see Naturalmente in its entirety is when John is that big and Naturalmente is that big. You know what I mean? The longer you stay on Naturalmente, the longer you start seeing its benefits. You'll get more hair and a whole thicker hair, less breakage, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Okay. So the process is this. I'm going to put some foils on your hairline so that just when you tie up, you don't have the top deck. Okay, that's happening there. If you look to the side, there's nice and light, and then here's dark. That's kind of hella obvious that I colour my hair, but we're obviously not going to make these as light as there, because if you're in the sun naturally, here wouldn't be as light as there. So some in there. Then I'm going to start lower down here, quite wide apart, just to break up that solid darkness, because your last time foils were put there were there, which is quite a few back. Alright, so then you're going to have the whole head of foils. Okay, so now what happens in hair colouring? We're coming in and we're lightening up here, and we start working with undertones. Alright? And then sometimes, like, either I'm working with your natural undertones, or now today when I'm going to be depositing natural back into this, I'm working with artificial undertones and pigments. What ends up happening, because it's colouring your hair is not a natural process. Okay, there's nothing natural about what I'm going to do to you now. The difference with Naturalmente colouring is, like I explained to you, there's no petrochemicals in it, and they're not using ammonia. When you start working with pigments and undertones, there's a dislodging. And that's why as you leave the salon it looks ashen, and then as it wears it goes gold. Because those artificial pigments they've put in on that day have now lodged out and have slipped away, and the undertone of this colour naturally is warm. And that's why this starts coming up. Then you go back to the salon, they tone it down again, or cool it down again. In some people's opinion, and mine on that photo, too cool. It almost borders grey, and then it washes up. So would you agree that sometimes you feel your colour's better a week or 2 or 3 afterwards? Because that over-depositing is washed out. Then it goes to the other side, where now it's a bit too warm. Okay. Naturalmente has a lovely, unique, innovative system called color defense. So instead of me being incredibly aggressive with your hair today, I can be gentle with your hair today and give you a color shampoo, pigmented, the cool tones to keep the warms at bay, and you take a little bit of responsibility for pigment control between visits. So what does that mean? That means that next time I see you again, I don't have to be so aggressive. Yeah. And then you start the story. And the less aggressive you are, the better the condition of the hair becomes. Okay. In colouring, the process is called oxidation. And when that H2O2 hits the air and all the stuff, it's oxidation. Oxidation is what damages your hair. So if I can only oxidize a strand once, it's going to stay in good condition. When the trouble comes in is when they come and they overlap and they oxidize that a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time, and a fifth time. And that's often in the toning process. Whereas Naturalmente has color shampoos, it's a non-chemical process. It's working with direct pigments which affiliate themselves to the keratin in your hair. So it's more alchemy than chemistry. Okay. We were going to give you a more natural look. So in between your highlights, we applied a natural base color on every second foil, and then color defense on every other foil to just enhance the old highlights that had maybe got a bit too warm. Okay, that's mixed with a mask, and it's actually conditioning and a non-chemical process Okay, Pat, when you rinse the color, I want you to take out all the foils, and then you're going to use the Biondo Ghiacchio, the violet color shampoo, on the powdered highlights to tone them, and then wrap it with the antioxidant conditioner and the leftover mask that you used in between the hair to do the final tone. Macassar is something you would put on morning, noon, night. Morning, noon, night. From the ear down. It's literally, like if I'm putting it on my hair, it would literally be, and I do it every day, you just take it, make a pony, and you douse this pony. And if you really want to get your hair on the mend, what I would do is overdose it at night. That it looks like, oh my hat, looks like an oil slick. And because it's not silicone and it is absorbing, by the end, in the morning you wake up, it's gone. Okay, so you see when you first put it in, it looks like, oh, it's oily. But now, before you leave, it will all be gone. And this is the 4th time I'm putting it on today. Okay. And it's also got a nice
Smell to it.
lang lang. Alright, if you feel it in your hands, give me your hand. Because you're going to put on one side and I'm going to put on the other. It feels like silicone that you understand it to be. Okay, you rub it together. Now what that is, and you're coming from your ear down, yeah? What that is restructuring, because we are part silica. And all that dead hair that I was showing you will literally, remember when I lifted it up and I showed you the breakages? It will literally start repairing those.
What a difference.
Okay?
What a difference. I can't tell you.